"Impressive work, Brenda," said Richard. I, trying to hide my pride, replied, "This system could revolutionize the way we protect our networks." And I added, "Thank you, sir. The ability of our neural network to adapt to new threats is unique. We can patent it in a few months. My name is Brenda Lacerda. I'm 28 years old, and that system was the work of my life. But not everything went as I expected. Welcome to the Soulful Stories channel. To make sure you never miss a story, make sure to subscribe. I spent years developing a groundbreaking digital security system, an AI capable of learning and evolving faster than any hacker, protecting corporate networks in real time without human intervention." At a board meeting, Richard, my boss, leaned back in his leather chair and announced, "The board meeting is next week. I want you to send me all the documentation, every line of code, every test result." At that moment, something didn't feel right. In my 5 years at the company, I learned to read my boss's mood. Despite that, I answered carefully, "It would be good for me to be present to explain the technical details." But Richard replied with a slight smile, "It won't be necessary. I understand enough to present myself." That same night, while preparing the files Richard had asked for, I received an urgent message from Raquel in HR. "Emergency meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mandatory." I felt something big was coming. The next morning, I entered the conference room and found Marcos, Raquel, and even 2 security guards waiting for me. That's when the trap started. Richard, with a sharp voice, said, "Brenda, we've detected some concerning behavior. Unauthorized use of company resources and working on personal projects during office hours. You breached your contract by developing competing technology. All of your work now belongs to the company. We're taking control of the project effective immediately." I asked, "You mean you're taking control?" Richard, smiling arrogantly, said, "Pack your things. Security will escort you out." While he rehearsed his presentation to the board, thinking he had stolen 2 years of my work with fabricated accusations, I had already anticipated this betrayal for months. I had secretly embedded a special code in the system, a protocol that would be activated 30 days after its implementation, revealing any unauthorized changes and exposing the truth. And that night, I accessed my secret backup server where I had documented every conversation with Richard, every idea he tried to steal, every change he made to my code. Soon after, my phone buzzed with a message from Peter in IT. "Richard has already modified the base code, trying to make it look like his work, just like you predicted." I smiled, imagining the trap Richard was setting without realizing it. In the following weeks, I watched from afar as Richard tried to rewrite the documentation, erasing all references to my name. Every change he made only reinforced the protocol I had created, a true digital immune system, programmed to remember its original creator. And 7 days before the presentation, I received another message, this time from Richard himself, suggesting that perhaps they had been hasty in firing me and offering me a role as a consultant. But I knew what was coming. The day before the presentation, Peter sent me the final confirmation. "Everything's ready. I've scheduled a full system update for tomorrow morning. The entire board will watch the live demonstration." I smiled, knowing that the truth was about to be revealed. On the morning of the presentation, I sat in a cafe across from the company headquarters, watching the live stream that Peter had set up. The conference room was packed with executives, investors, and journalists. On stage, Richard stepped up to the podium arrogantly and announced, in a loud, confident voice, "Ladies and gentlemen, today we unveil the future of cybersecurity, an AI system capable of detecting and neutralizing threats in real time. This technology, developed over the last 5 years, represents a quantum leap in network protection. Let me demonstrate." As he clicked to start the demo, the giant display behind him lit up, showing the interface of my AI. Everything seemed normal, just how he expected it. But then the system spoke, initializing security protocol, detecting unauthorized modifications in central architecture. I saw Richard's smile falter. He started clicking frantically on the screens, but every click just made more evidence appear. The display changed, showing side-by-side comparisons. My original elegant code versus Richard's clumsy modifications, with all the marks evidencing his tampering, meeting recordings where he took credit for my work, and proof of how he had planned my dismissal. The AI's voice explained, "What you are seeing is a comprehensive security audit. My primary function is to identify and expose threats to the integrity of the system." The primary threat detected was the systematic theft of intellectual property by user Richard. Soon, documents and evidence that Raquel had gathered appeared on screen, including the original project proposal with timestamps and my name. That's when Richard shouted, "Turn this off." But the system didn't respond to his commands. It had been blocked. A board member stood up and asked, "What does all of this mean? Is this a trick?" In that moment, Peter entered the room holding a stack of papers and declared, "This is exactly what the AI was designed to do: protect intellectual property and expose security threats. Brenda Lacerda created this system. These are the original records that prove her authorship." The room plunged into chaos. Journalists were scribbling frantically. Investors were making calls, and Richard, watching his world crumble, could hardly believe what was happening. Shortly after, my phone buzzed with a message from the board chair, Bartolomeo Coleman. "Ms. Lacerda, would you be willing to meet with us to discuss your AI system?" The real one, not the version Richard tried to present. I smiled and replied, "Of course, but you should know that what you saw today was the real system, working exactly as designed, protecting against every threat, including corporate espionage." A few hours later, Richard was escorted out of the building. That night, the news of the scandal was lighting up tech blogs, with headlines like "AI exposes corporate theft during live demo." A week later, I was sitting before the board of directors, explaining my true vision for the system. They listened carefully, especially when I explained the ethical protocols, which not only protect networks, but also ensure transparency and corporate responsibility. Bartolomeu then announced, "We would like to offer you the position of Chief Technology Officer, with full control over the development of your AI and all the patent rights under your name." I accepted, with the condition that Peter lead the development team and Raquel had the new corporate ethics division. As for Richard, the last thing I saw was him facing multiple lawsuits, including from previous companies where he had committed similar crimes. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction, but letting the truth be revealed at the right moment. Every time I pass by Richard's old office, I think of my father's words: "Intelligence without integrity is a weapon pointed in the wrong direction." He thought he was stealing a weapon, but he ended up turning it on himself. Today, my AI system is a reference in the industry, not only protecting against external threats, but also internal ones. And every time it identifies and halts a corporate theft, I think back to that board meeting in Richard's face when the truth finally came to light. This is my story, a journey of challenges, betrayals, and above all, integrity. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more stories of overcoming obstacles and innovation. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.